Hello and welcome to another gameplay with Tahm. As always, I'm taking the rats, whatever this is. But of course I mean the raptors, aka chickens, aka rats, like I still like to call them. Yeah, I'm not sure if I should get crystalline flask or the shield.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Yeah, I tilt into crystalline flask because I think I didn't test Doran's shield clearing, so I didn't want to test it for the first time in a real game, just because I don't want to die to a level 1 campaign. This would be really embarrassing.
I refuse to succumb to culinary degradation.
And the flask is not a bad item at all. It gives me mana, which is much needed in the early game.
Delectable taste.
I've struggled a little bit with the video. I thought about making a funny compilation about eating Teemo. But then I thought, okay, I can do the gameplay as a full commentary and still make a funny montage. Nothing keeps me from doing both. And there, as you could maybe see, I pop all of my crystalline flask stacks because I regenerate them anyways. And of course it's a little bit strange to get a cloth armor against a Teemo, but I always get the perfect 300, so I went with the cloth armor. Still, if he harasses me a lot, it lowers the damage of it a little. Just his basic attack damage. And I think this is a very good example video. I've played a few more games after this against different opponents, and some of them were pretty frustrating. I mean, the only one I really lost lane to was another Tahm. So, of course this is also frustrating to lose a mirror lane. But I had a very frustrating match against the Yasuo. Not because I lost lane, he went 0-7 in lane. He went 0-7-0. And then I decided to help my team a little, and he just got 2 towers and 1v1'd every one of my teammates. So this was a little bit annoying, because he was as much impactful as I was, even though I completely shut him down in lane. And this Teemo game actually has some similar points. I mean, again, I'm lucky getting an early gank. Definitely helps. And again, just an assist.
To covet is to starve.
But still good thing for me. I can go back and chop. For my level 6 spike.
All shall drown in my magnificence.
And in this game I mean, everybody says Teemo is a really scary or annoying or evil opponent in the top lane.
I have tastes that aren't easily pacified.
But everybody says, okay, Teemo is not really viable because he's useless in the late game.
Overindulge.
And this Teemo, again, has pretty decent impact in the late game, even though I completely shut him down in lane. And this is a little bit annoying.
Depth of flavor is what I
But at this point in the game I'm pretty happy with myself. Yeah, and I'm also even typing in chat like I also always wanted to know how it is to play top lane against Teemo, because
expansively unique.
I have mained Sinch for a long time, and as you might know, Sinch gets also really
Everyone and
shut down in the top lane against the Teemo. I mean, if it's for some reason a really bad Teemo player, maybe you can do something against him. But 90% of the time, you just wanna exit out of the game. You just wanna go AFK in the base. With Singed, of course, Singed is a very relevant champion in the late game.
An ally has been slain.
He's have a really big impact in any team fight,
We all gonna die.
and can also bully people really well if he comes out ahead.
Enticing culinary prowess.
And I baited Teemo's flash there.
An enemy has been slain.
Like, this was really satisfying to get Teemo's flash there, because it was
Misery.
pretty cocky move, but he was so scared by it, because he saw before what I can do, that he just decided to flash and get out of it.
From suffering,
An enemy
my
has been
banquet is
slain.
born.
Yeah, and of course against the Teemo I will go with the Spirit Visage as first item.
Abated.
Enemy killing spree.
Is impossible.
And I just use my ult to get back in lane. The cooldown is good and you won't be able to use the ultimate often, that's why I always use it to get back in lane a little faster. Oh, yeah,
To covet is to starve.
and this is the best way of dealing with the gank. Just kill the lane opponent and kill the jungler afterwards. That's pretty much your only chance to survive the gank. Like, that's my experience now with Tahm, that unless you have a really short distance to your tower, because you can be very strong under the tower with your slow, you can And also your W, of course, if you're able to eat someone and then put him right underneath the tower. That can be very favorable situations, but if you're in the middle of the lane or even overextending, you should just try to kill one of them and then kill the other one. That's by far your best option with Tahm. I think the main problem with Tahm is his lack of AoE. The only AoE damage you can deal is by spitting out minions. And in team fights there are often no minions around. Like many team fights are in the jungle. And even if you happen to push a lane, many people don't let you eat a minion because they just don't know what you can do with them. And Teemo hid far behind the mid lane, but he will still get a big spit in his face. That's the great thing about maxing W. The big splash damage in the lane. But yeah, his lack of AoE is also his problem with ganks. Like with the Cinch, when you get ganked you just run away and leave your poison on. And if you're lucky, one or two of them dies, or they at least have to turn at some point, because they can't stay in your poison forever.
That aren't easily pacified. Let us eat voraciously
and I even looked up on LoL counter that that's a good counter to Tahm is Teemo, and I really don't see why. I really cannot see that. I've had a match against Gangplank and he was pretty annoying. I still won the lane, but yeah. Teemo just can't do anything against me at this point, because he has to get in tongue range to harass me. And if there's just a moment where no minion is in front of him, he will get the tongue in his face. And then he's pretty much eaten already, because I can run up to him in that time, get another auto attack in, then he will run away, I will tongue him a second time, I will have 3 stacks and he's eaten and he's dead. So yeah, laning against Teemo, I mean, this guy admitted that he didn't play in a long time, like a month or something. And he really doesn't like to play against Tahm. I mean, I can see why he doesn't like it. At least after this game. Yeah, and my teleports are awful. Oh, are they? Yeah, a little bit awful. A little bit awful. Yeah, and I hate trash. I hate trash, because this always happens. I gank bottom lane, I focus the ADC, and trash saves him. I just have to learn to focus trash. It's just so tempting to focus the AD carry. Yeah, and these situations are great. Tahm is also really strong if he is 2 versus 1, like with an ally against an opponent. Oh, and a nice juke. Teemo juked me, but I hit him. Come here. You are dead, my friend. And this is also annoying. If I snowball that hard in lane, I don't get much gold for killing the opponent. I could have got maybe more gold if I just stayed at the minions and cleared them.
I am appetite focused. Anything of depth is deceitful.
But I'm really don't know why anybody would say Teemo is a hard counter to Tahm Kench top.
An enemy has been
Is the
slain.
seasoning.
Double kill.
I really don't see that. I'm really not sure if anybody can counter Tahm Kench. Like, the only guy I really lost my lane to was another Tahm Kench. Like, literally. And yeah, maybe sometimes if I get ganked a lot, I can lose my lane or go even or something. But the annoying thing about the top lane Tahm Kench is really his poor late game.
Nothing escapes hunger.
He can have a great impact mid game, just because there are many like little skirmishes like 3v3, 3v2, and he's really or 2v2s or 2v1s. If it's 2v1 in your favorite, then Tahm Kench, or
Down.
like even if it's 2v3 with an ally, you can have some good impact because you have a really strong dueling damage. Of course, Tahm Kench's best situation is just straight up 1v1, because you got so much damage.
Been slain.
It's really insane, and you can build all tanky so nobody can burst you down or anything. And since a big part of your damage is your W and its percentage health, like it doesn't matter if the enemy is building really tanky. Like maybe if the enemy is building like full magic resist tank with only magic resist items, okay. Maybe. But also right here it was a good 2v1 and I just focused this damn trash. I have to learn to always do that if trash is around, just focus the damn trash. Damn lanterns all the time. Oh, and there's another one.
Where is that taste?
Yeah.
Every heart has its own.
And I think here I profited a little bit about my on my 21 offensive masteries by regaining a little bit of health by killing Teemo. And also that I do enhanced damage against people who are low health. Both helped me here. I mean, mainly it helped me that Teemo was pretty mad at this point. Because Teemo is the one that is used to dominate a lane.
The only real sin is to deny.
And not the other way around. I mean, if I finally learn to teleport, maybe I should watch a guy on how to teleport. Because in this team fight, I could have been present already,
Everyone ends downriver.
but I just watched it while wandering around in our jungle. And this damn channel time.
Famished and starved.
I don't think I can catch a Lissandra here.
I have tastes that aren't easy.
I just leave my lane to... Oh, okay. At least I TP back.
A feast awaits.
So Teemo cannot get too much back, but I still wasted my teleport with this action and I did literally nothing. I just wandered around in the jungle a little bit. I didn't even place my trinket in the jungle. I mean, the jungle is completely warded, but still. I did nothing, and I wasted ult and
A depth of flavor is what I covet.
my teleport. Teleport far worse than wasting my ult, because it's really tough to do good plays with it. I like managed to get like 1 or 2 really good plays off my ult in the whole game, and that's about it.
Consume all.
I mean, the worst thing about it is that if you take damage it gets cancelled, so I don't know, this would maybe a great way to buff Tahm a little bit, or to balance him, maybe take some
Now we shall
away of his crazy scaling with health. Like, damage scaling with health is just a crazy mechanic to have on a tank, or on a champion in general. Like, the only other scaling with health damage ability I can think of is Braum's Q? Ha! And I guessed where Teemo was. I think I saw him go invisible.
another snack.
But yeah, I couldn't think of any other ability or any other champion that can scale his damage with his max health, unless you get, of course, an item like Titanic Hydra.
Give it to me!
Okay, and they don't have the balls to chase me around.
Anything of depth. Nothing escapes hunger. Requires foresight to manifest. Every heart has its own hunger. Liquidation.
Yeah, it was a little bit crazy for me to go in there on them. I should have just stayed back. I mean, it's obvious I can't do anything against 4 people.
To covet is to starve.
Your team has destroyed.
And I somehow really wanna build Wit's End. But I really don't think Wit's End is a good item. I think this gameplay is also a pretty good proof of it. Yeah. And getting kited by fucking 3 people.
Your attacks are.
Yeah, and I just... Okay, at least Teemo killed me and not Israel. Israel would have been worse if he got fed. Or got fed. But he still should have got a pretty decent gold amount out of me. And that's the thing that really annoys me, because I go ahead and lane and then I get too cocky, go against 3 people and give all my bounty gold to them. That's really not good. I think that's why that's the big issue about Tahm Kench, that you just cannot go in like many other current meta top laners like Darius, Garen. I mean, Garen and Darius are just the perfect example, or even Fiora. They can just go in on 2 or 3 people if they are fed and just kill all of them. And that's close to impossible with Tahm. I mean, that's even a good reason to get an early Thorn Mail on Tahm. Of course, if they're a very AD heavy team, like against the Teemo top and the Lissandra, you really shouldn't. And then Ezreal, who also does a lot of magic damage, you really shouldn't rush Thornmail, of course. But in modern games, you might see many. I think he's still in that bush. In that bush, he can move in the bush. Maybe he just backed.
A depth of flavor is what I covet.
Oh, Singed is also a good example. Like, Singed, if he's fed, he can also run through 3 people, maybe just kill 1, but he can still get out. Trundle, also good example. If you jungle with Trundle, or like anybody, like Rammus, if you are fed on, like 1v1, no problem. Like, I killed this as no problem. Even if he got his E, he can't get away from me far enough, as long as Trash isn't there. And now Trash is here, and I'm annoyed already, just because I see Trash. Yeah, okay, everything worked out perfectly.
Gluttony is impossible. To covet is to starve.
No, I think without Twisted Fate I couldn't have done it, because they had to shift focus at some point.
True appetite never wanes.
And here I'm really stupid. I wanted to eat Nocturne when he had a spell shield on. Like, this was a really bad timing.
An enemy has been slain.
Really bad timing and really stupid, of course. I could have like at least used QW so I can get a spell shield off and devour him right after. But I tried to devour him, wondered why it didn't work, and the second after I got feared by him. And I should have also popped my E earlier, of course. But as always, I underestimated the situation a little.
Everyone ends downriver eventually.
Has been slain.
From suffering, my banquet is born. All the world's nothing escapes hunger. Another snack. No true hunger can be a big.
Yeah. And when minions are there, you are able to do a good amount of poke damage, as you just saw there. It's also AoE, like your only AoE ability, but it's a really nice ability because it cannot be blocked by most of the shields. Braum's shield cannot block it. Yasuo's shield cannot block it. But if you fight in the jungle and there are no jungle minions nearby, or fight at Drake or Baron, there's only the Skirtle Crab and it's most likely already done. You don't have any ammunition.
Anything of death is deceitful. Even when you
And then you have no AoE damage. And you can get kited very easily.
Has been slain. Has been slain.
fire warms the spirit and charges the appetite.
I mean, maybe I should try to build a Titanic Hydra earlier. That could maybe solve this problem.
A depth of flavor is what I covet. Their despair is the seasoning.
But I don't know, I haven't tried it out really, the Titanic Hydra. It's a new item and I'm
My diet is
kind of suspicious against most of the new items. Except for the Dead Man's Plate. And it's a great movement speed boost.
An ally has been
And it's a great combination of health and armor, like really good stats by itself.
I have
I think it's
not easily.
the biggest health item besides Warmox with 600 HP. I couldn't think of anything that has more. And I'm eating this Skirtle Crab and shoot it at Baron. It's what you should always do if you're doing Baron or Drake. And fucking Nocturne. Get the fucking Baron. This knock is really annoying in this game.
Sounds like nice. Covet is to starve.
And I really don't need to take the blue buff there. Because I'm at CDR cap. That's what I really like about this build.
Everyone ends downriver, eventually.
Destroyed a turret.
And boom, Ace is dead.
Every heart
Yeah. I mean, I'm really fat. I'm 18, 2 and 3. But again, this Nocturne really does a lot of damage to me. And I think I'm a little bit early here in typing GG. I mean, it looks like... Oh yeah, and I'm really mispositioning right there. I should have backed a little. I should have backed a little. It's a shame I don't check the stats, because I think Teemo has actually pretty decent stats at this point, or because he managed to kill some of my teammates.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Yeah, and I wanna get Titanic Hydra now, I think. It also scales, of course, really well with the Wit's End. But yeah, it's a pretty expensive item.
An enemy has been slain.
And I maybe should have got the
misery has a delectable taste.
tech damage item instead of the giant spell, but I think I kept more other items open by getting just the giant spells. Yeah, and I'm popping my shields too late there. I think I've talked about this in another video. You don't want to pop your shield if you only have a 100 HP left. You should pop it if you know, like, you get in a situation where you get really a lot of damage, and you should pop it at around 30-40% of your health, I think. Or in this situation I think I should have used it at around 30%, 40% of my HP. Of course you don't want to use it too early, because when it goes on cooldown you also don't get any grey health.
An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. Enemy double.
Oh, and I even sell... Okay, I think I just get the Thornmail now because I'm sick of the Nocturne. And I figured with two other armor items, Thornmail should do a lot of damage to him if I go 1v1.
Has been destroyed.
Yeah, and these guys are really able to come back a little now.
We all go down.
Ah, that was a shame.
Savor the misery. Anything of depth is deceiving.
What did... Did he just block 2 spells with 1 spell shield? Because this would be bullshit. It looked like Leona used her stun on Nocturne and I also used my tongue on Nocturne and she blocked both. But anyways, Nocturne can't do much against my Thornmail and he for some reason decided to focus me. Which was really not a good idea. And yeah. We will finish now the game. Because everybody is a little bit annoyed and is scared that we can throw. But yeah. I hope you liked the gameplay and I will see you next time. Goodbye!